And we are following breaking news. The House does have enough votes to pass a bill that would ban TikTok. Alina Shirazi is on Capitol Hill with a co-sponsor of that bill. Alina, what do we know?
Well, we have Congressman Bob Latta with us here. Thank you so much for speaking with us today. We're looking right now, right? We're seeing, do you think this, it's looking like it's going to pass overwhelmingly, but what do you think looking at this with me right now?
Well, when we look at the number there, I think it's overwhelming for multiple reasons. This is something that the House has been working on for over a year. When Mr. Chu from TikTok appeared before us in committee, I asked him the question if anyone in Communist China could see this information, this data from American users of the app. And yes, it could be, was the response. So we also had security briefings, and that's one of the other big concerns here is the national security of not only the United States, but also making sure that we protect our citizens out there because of the Communist Chinese being able to access their information.
So as far as accessing information, we've heard kind of both sides. They're saying, oh, you know, China could have access from the parent company, but they haven't done anything yet. There hasn't been proof. But then they're saying, okay, well, we can see the geolocation and if there was access to that information from American users if they wanted. So what is, I guess, possible under Chinese ownership?
Well, multiple things. Number one, we look at the algorithms. It's what they want Americans to see and how that information is being disseminated to Americans. It's the information that Americans are actually transferring over to them when they're on their app, on their phones, or any place they're using TikTok. And I think it's important to point this out. This is not a ban on TikTok. What this is that TikTok is owned by ByteDance, and under communist Chinese law, anything that the communist Chinese government wants, if you're a Chinese company, you have to give it to the government. So what we're saying in the legislation is if ByteDance, which is the parent, divests themselves of TikTok, TikTok can still be an app being used here in the United States.
And it looks like the bill just passed is what we're hearing right now. So what do you make of that? What's your initial reaction to that?
Well, I think it's good because, again, I want to make sure that Americans are protected. You know, when the other day when TikTok was concerned about what was happening, and so all of a sudden they sent out to 170+ million users in this country saying you can't access your app unless you contact your representative. I have no problem with people contacting us, but I think it also proves our point, that, the control that they have, because we had people calling our offices. I'm just calling because if I don't call you, I can't use my TikTok anymore. You know, we had people calling with threats. We had people calling saying they'd commit suicide if they couldn't be on TikTok. So this is the concerns that are out there. But we want to make sure that Americans are protected. But again, as I said, this is not a ban. ByteDance can divest themselves of this, but you know the Communist Chinese want our information.
The former President Donald Trump, he tried to pass this before, it didn't work. Why did it work this time?
Well, I think there are multiple reasons in this one. First of all, you know, we've had the hearing in the Energy and Commerce Committee, which I'm a member of. And again, we had the initial meeting in the hearing with Mr. Chu from TikTok. There's been a lot of work done by the China Select Committee along with this, and so you had parallel things going on. But I think all the different things that people have seen around this country of all of the things that the Communist Chinese are accessing, you know, medical records are being stolen, and you go through the entire gamut of what's out there, and I think it's really built a case out there, and so I think that's why we had such a huge vote today for passage.
And wrapping this up, because I know you got to be somewhere, so thank you again. But Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, she said she's banned on American apps, not just Chinese apps. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I didn't hear what she said, but again, what would happen is if something would happen with TikTok that ByteDance would not divest themselves of, there's 180 days for them that different platforms here in the United States couldn't carry the app. But Americans could access their information back that they've got out there with TikTok, so they could transfer that to another app. So I think the bill worked out very, very well for the American people, for their safety, security, and hopefully now this bill will see some light of day over in the Senate, and they'll see what overwhelming support that we have for it here, and they can move forward on it.
Speaking of moving forward, how do we move forward from this point on? What should Americans watching at home expect now?
Well, I think that right off the bat that as this bill it goes over to the Senate, and there's been some discussion over there, but again, I think that the Senate needs to hear the exact same things that we've heard. I'm not sure, again, what they have been doing overall concerning TikTok or other national security concerns, because again, when we talk about our adversaries, it's Communist China, it's Russia, it's Iran, and North Korea. So that's what's going to have to be looked at when they get over to the Senate, and hopefully they can get this bill and move it forward quickly.
And those are the only countries?
I beg your pardon?
Those are the only countries at this time?
Those are the four that if you look at what the four that we're concerned about, those are what we consider adversarial.
Got it. Congressman, any last thoughts before I let you go?
Well, again, I just want to assure everybody this is not a ban, because if ByteDance does divest, TikTok could be picked up by another company that's trusted, and then you can still use TikTok.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
being
here, and we'll send it back to you guys. But again, you heard it. The bill has passed overwhelmingly. 2/3 of the vote was needed in the House. Its future in the Senate. We'll see what that has in store from now. So I'll send it back to you.
All right, we will. Alina Shirazi, thank you for that up-to-the-minute reaction. Really interesting.